It was a near-perfect weekend, wasn't it, for Liverpool? Manchester City dropped points. Leicester, of course, lost. Chelsea lost 1-0 away against Newcastle. Let's start with Chelsea, shall we, Stevie? And what's going on with them at the moment? Because all that good spirits and all that momentum they seem to build up early days is slowly but surely falling apart.
Yeah, I mean, all that momentum was all about the young players.
Yep.
And the only thing you know is with young players, eventually that consistency is going to drop because they don't have the experience to do it week in and week out for an extended period.
Yeah.
Now, if you add on the fact that you've got a defence who, although, and particularly in the Newcastle game, has had nothing to do for 89 minutes, and then in the 90th minute, the centre-back, Rudiger, all he has to do is head the ball out and attack the ball and doesn't do it and they lose the game. That's a horrible combination. So going forward, in my opinion, they need to bring in some experience in this window.
Right.
Because there's no signs of them being at their attacking best. It's been 3 or 4 weeks since there's been any sign of that. Mason Mount's lost his way a little. Tammy Abraham's lost his way a little. You know, you got Hudson-Odoi who... What's Hudson-Odoi done so far?
Yeah,
he hasn't
weird,
done anything, you know.
Yeah.
So now they're pretty much relying on the likes of Willian, who, before Lampard came in, wasn't always a starter anyway. So they need help going forward, and I would suggest some good old-fashioned experience.
Well, yesterday against Newcastle, they could have played 300 minutes and they would not have scored.
Really? That bad?
Well, I mean, they're passing the ball sideways and backwards and sideways again, and then they dump it into the box. Newcastle clears it, and that happened time and time and time again. And you could say, well, great work defensive by Newcastle. Yes, give them credit. But it's the lack of creativity, the inability of somebody, anybody, who grabs the ball, 1v1 situation, and actually get past somebody. Break them down in a 1v1, because then that forces a back line to adjust. And so that pulls somebody out of position because they have to cover that space. And then that opens up something else in the middle. That would, in some ways, you would think, help solve the problem. But there's nobody in that team. And it would be, yesterday would have been Hudson-Odoi to be that guy. He didn't do it. There isn't anybody in that team that can actually take somebody on. The
worrying thing for me was by the end of the game, they had completely lost their discipline. They had plenty of players forward, but they were all standing up front with their back to goal, trying to get the ball to feet. I mean, there's absolutely no movement whatsoever. So if they continue to do that, they ain't going to win games.
Who would you be more worried about at the moment, Chelsea or Spurs?
I think I would be more worried about Spurs. Because at least we can pinpoint some areas why Chelsea have dropped off from where they were. Tottenham, what do you put this down to with Tottenham? It's the same group of players that were pretty much in a Champions League final 6 months ago, and they've completely lost their way, both defensively and in an attack. I mean, you talk about multiple problems that Mourinho has with an experienced team.
Thanks so much for watching ESPN on YouTube. And for more sports highlights and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app. And for premium content and live streaming, subscribe to ESPN+.